the consequences of the alleged assault 5 years on. Also tonight, Member of Parliament for Savelugu in the Northern Region escapes prison custody after a judge waived his arrest warrant. But the former minority leader is demanding special dispensation for MPs on trial.
We probably will have to make a strong argument whether parliamentary emergencies cannot be a justification, because that particular day, the Honorable Jacob Abdullahi had to be in Parliament to exercise his representative role as Member of Parliament.
Lawyer for the MPs, meanwhile, accusing the police of orchestrating the entire episode against his client.
The police set out from Tamale purposely to go and create a scenario at Savelugu and put it on top of the MP, because our idea was that if they were pressmen, they were military men, they were other police people from Savelugu, why didn't they write statement? Why are they not in court to testify?
Also tonight, school children in Ashanti region to miss lunch tomorrow following strike by school feeding caterers over unpaid arrears.
We are demanding that third term payment and then increment before we start. Otherwise, tomorrow we are opening school. Nobody is going to cook.
And in business, we get some understanding from Bank of Ghana on what is driving the cedi's firm stability over the past month as it gets into the range of 11 Ghana cedis to $1.
And in sports, we hear from former world champion Joshua Clottey, who is calling for emphasis to be placed on amateur boxing in order for Ghana to produce a world title champion.
And later in the bulletin, doctors push for public policy to make healthy foods cheaper for Ghanaians as consumption of cheap junk foods spike cases of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases.
They are saying that the diet that we eat in Ghana is not that healthy. The healthier ones are more expensive. When you talk about fruits, when you talk about vegetables, the healthier oils are more expensive.
We'll hear from Parliament's Committee on Health, plus a trip to the market to check on prices of healthy foods.
The beetroot we say I have 4 20 cedi and I have 5 40 cedis.
Olive oil is the most expensive. Like 1 liter goes for 55, between 50 and 60. Coconut oil too is very expensive.
And since I'm live from Kigali and Rwanda, we can bring our audience what is happening here and why I'm here. And so we have a story for you from Rwanda, where the president, Paul Kagame, has been questioning the failure of African leaders to fix their countries themselves, as international expert panel cites Ghana as a classic example of a badly run African economy.
A country in West Africa, which was the first one to go to the IMF and begin general economic reforms, is back to the IMF today. Why? Because during the days when things were very good, they did all the wrong things. They ticked all the wrong boxes.
Then we focus on our very own President Akufo-Addo, who's asking if he's sounding the alarm bells of an African breakaway from the rest of the world.
Throughout history, Africa has taken care of the world. And we believe that it is time that we take care of ourselves if the world is not prepared or willing to solidarize with us.
We have that and more in tonight's edition.
More as it takes on.
Okay, you may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. It's via WhatsApp 05511119997. I am Emefa Apau, live from Accra.
And my name is Evans Mensah, live from Kigali, Rwanda. And let's start with our first story, where the Inspector General of Police, George Akufu-Dampare, says his office does not intend to pursue an out-of-court settlement with Joe News journalist Lateef Idrisu. This was revealed by a representative of the Attorney General, Nasirata Chumesi Asiama. Mrs. Asiama had in January informed the High Court hearing the case that the Attorney General had asked the police to opt for a settlement and engage a journalist to reach an agreement. This caused the court to put the case on hold. 2 months on, the police say it wants the trial to resume. Lateef continues to bear the brunt of the incident.
So I feel the pains in my head, because that's where they used the butt of the gun to hit, and my rib, and in my right leg, and my chest.
Hit your chest too?
Yeah, they were hitting me all over, so.
These are the areas you feel pain, but generally how are you feeling?
My neck as well, yeah, because of the slaps, you know.
These police officers?
There were a lot of them. There were lots.
Can you put a number to them?
For those guarded in front of the headquarters, there were more than 20. So he pushed me into them. They didn't know what was going on between the two of us. But I don't know, they all started beating me, slapping me here and there. So I shouted and called him, Joel. He came and I asked him to start filming. He raised his camera and he started doing something. Some of them also pounced on him and pulled him away. So then they pushed me into the main building and it got crazy.
Well, Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable joins us right now with more on this. And Joseph, first remind us of what exactly the AG's rep had stated in January. Was she communicating the AG's position or that of the police?
She was communicating the position of the AG in January, and she said she had been informed that the AG holds the view that it's better for the police to pursue the settlement talks. In fact, at that point in time, lawyers for Latif had indicated that there was an attempt by the NMC to mediate such talks earlier and didn't yield much, and so they were of the opinion that the talks can't be pursued while the trial continues. But the AG's representative insisted that she had been informed or instructed by the office to tell the court that the settlement should be pursued by the police, and so they would prefer that the matter is put on hold at once.
And do we know if there was any meeting, an attempt to deal with the settlement issue at all?
We are told one meeting took place, and that was a couple of days, about 3 days before the court met last week. And at that particular meeting, it was just to inform the lawyers for Latif that the AG was engaging the police on the matter. We also understand that a series of meetings took place between the police and the Attorney General's office in that regard as well.
But this obviously will come to us at Multimedia in particular as a bit of a surprise. Do we know what reason is informing this option to change what they had communicated in January?
Not at all. In fact, the only thing we are aware of and know for a fact is that the police, the Attorney General's office actually wrote to lawyers for Latif and the Multimedia Group to indicate that the IGP and management of police says they would not want to settle the matter and would rather prefer that it goes to trial. It doesn't state specifically why they do not intend to have the matter settled through such negotiations out of court.
And have we heard anything from lawyers for Latif?
As far as Samson Ladi Aminu, who is the lead counsel for Latif, is concerned, he wanted the court records to reflect the fact that it wasn't the case that negotiations broke down or settlement talks broke down, but rather a situation where the police had communicated that it does not want to settle, and he says he wanted the records to reflect that because when the request was made for adjournment, that was the point that he was making about the fact that an attempt had been made earlier, and he thinks that this is a matter that should be dealt with expeditiously because it has been outstanding for quite a while now.
Let's talk about Latif himself. He's at the heart of all this. Was he in court?
He's not in court, Evans. The reason being that he's quite unwell. We are told that his health situation keeps improving and deteriorating, so there is not that consistency. In fact, the doctors who attended to him beyond the shores of the country have actually asked that he comes for further treatment, and so the lawyers did put in a request for the possibility that in the event he is needed to be in the witness box, the court should consider a video link as the form of he being cross-examined, and the court agreed with that particular request that would be an option that he will adopt in the event the trial resumes and they need him and he's unable to be present in court. And so the matter is back at the High Court on 12th of May.
Thank you very much, Joseph. And Joseph bringing us a very detailed update of what happened in court today. MFR Power. I know we have to go to Savelugu, where a member of parliament today escaped prison custody.
We know that he was served a possible prison custody after a judge waived an arrest warrant served on him. While a Tamale High Court presided over by Justice Richard Kwakwapia issued the bench warrant for the MP last week, while the MP has been charged with 2 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm. On December 9, 2022, state prosecutors said they found an AK-47 rifle and 60 rounds of ammunition in an office they said belonged to the MP. Well, the accused and his lawyer failed to appear in court on Friday when the case was called, forcing the judge to issue that particular warrant. But today, the order was revoked following pleas from his lawyer. Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idris, who is also the former minority leader, said the accused was in Parliament undertaking business for the state when the order was issued.
The judge exercised lawful discretion, lawfully on the prosecution, and he was not convinced of his absence in court on 31st March, and accordingly issued a bench warrant for his arrest. We just want to assure you that the Honorable Jacob Abdullahi is a very responsible elected member of Parliament. He will never ever be a fugitive of justice. He probably did not exercise good judgment in the reason he provided to the court. He did not use my law. But subsequently, we have to avoid a third occurrence of this, and I'm sure he's accordingly advised. Probably within the realm, the doctrine of separation of powers, beyond being ill and beyond being indisposed, we probably will have to make a strong argument whether parliamentary emergencies cannot be a justification, because that particular day, the Honorable Jacob Abdullahi had to be in Parliament to exercise his representative role as member of Parliament to vote on some tax legislation. The judge did not find that convincing enough. So that is where the law, we have to see how to evolve our democracy and our jurisdictional law further.
In fact, we can speak to the lawyer now who has just joined us on the telephone line right now. Charles Luanga Poisson has been representing the lawyer in court and is joining us on the telephone line. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you, my brother.
So, today, what convinced the judge to waive this warrant?
No, basically what had happened was that the judge was informed that throughout the trial the MP has always been present, and that it was just due to some exigencies that made him could not attend on March 31st, and also the fact that the warrant hadn't been executed, that the MP himself walked personally to court to have the warrant rescinded. So on those 2 bases, the court was of the view that once he came meant that he respected the court and that the warrant be rescinded.
But that makes me curious about why this wasn't communicated to the judge when he initially issued the warrant. Was this communicated to the judge then?
No, initially what had happened was that there was a letter written by the MP indicating his absence on 31st March. And the excuse was that there were some parliamentary proceedings he had to participate in. So the judge took the view that he previously had indicated to him that parliamentary sitting should not be a basis for his non-appearance in court, and therefore it was on those bases that the judge thought he had not respected his initial advice, and that was how the warrant was issued on Friday, the 31st of March.
And let's talk about something that I believe you said today to journalists after the court. You maintain that your client is innocent of the charges. You actually suggest that the police may be behind a certain orchestration?
That is correct, because I was of the view that in all their testimony they had indicated that other persons were present when they conducted the various searches. But throughout the trial and the evidence before the court and all the witness statements that have been filed, none of the other persons, the third parties, gave witness statement to collaborate what the police had said. And therefore, it was just like a number of police officers who had gone before the court giving the same similar testimony. It also even excluded police officers that were supposed to have been in the Savulugu district. So we were suggesting to the court that on those basis it was something that was planned and executed by a few police officers.
And so this is based on your circumstantial hunch, or is there any real evidence that you believe exonerates him?
No, basically the police duty is for them to prove beyond reasonable doubt. That is the burden on the prosecution, and therefore we are of the view that if you say you went to a scene, you conducted searches in the presence of persons as well as the military and all that, as well as media men, and in coming to court, no media man gives testimony to confirm or collaborate your story. No military man that went with you is collaborating your story. No bystander or individuals that were present according to you when you conducted the search, none of them gave evidence before the court to collaborate that indeed those events took place. The MP was absent when the searches were conducted. So he said throughout that at all material times I wasn't in possession of any firearm. You conducted a search in my absence. The persons you went there with, none of them have testified to collaborate the story of the police. That is the reason why we find it very bizarre. And even they said they made calls to the MP. There is nothing before the court to show that there was some call content or there was some call from any of the networks that indicated that there was a conversation between the MP and the police security head. So throughout the trial, it is our duty to demonstrate these doubts for the judge to know that this is a matter that cannot be proven without reasonable doubt that the MP had possession of AK-47 for that matter, not a mere gun.
This is a serious offense he's been charged with. No wonder the judge is taking a serious view of his absence in court. How is this affecting his work as a member of parliament?
So far we've been able to manage it because often than every other 2 weeks or 3 weeks we appear before the judge to proceed with the matter. Fortunately for us, Parliament is on recess, so we are going back to court on Wednesday to continue the trial, so that before Parliament resumes, we'll have taken steps further regarding the trial, and hopefully trial should sometime end soon. It is our belief.
As his lawyer, can you guarantee that he will henceforth not miss any court date?
Oh no, basically we're going to be done with the prosecution's case on Wednesday. After the prosecution's case is dealt with, there's a procedure usually called submission of no case, or the judge ought to rule whether there's a case for the MP and the chief to answer. If the judge comes to a conclusion that there's a case for him to answer, he will mount the witness box and testify to the offenses for which he's been charged, and then the prosecution will also cross-examine. We also have our 3-4 witnesses that have filed witness statements. These are persons who were present during the search. They've all indicated various issues that I think it will exonerate the MP when trial comes to a conclusion. If the court is also of the view that the evidence put before it is not substantial enough to call on the MP to testify, then I guess the trial ends.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful that you joined us with some thoughts on this matter. That is a lawyer for the MP in question, the Savulugu MP, who missed a prison custody today because the judge waived a bench warrant that has been served on him, Jacob Idrisu. You've just been listening there to Charles Luanga Poisson, who had represented him throughout the trial. And if there is more politics here, purely from a court, let's get to the NDC.
And you know, this issue about the approval of the 6 ministerial nominees appointed by President Akufo-Addo won't go away. Well, in the Pru East constituency, some NDC branch executives have petitioned the party leadership to initiate disciplinary action against their MP, Dr. Kwabena Donko. They're accusing the former power minister of anti-party conduct, as they say he flouted the party's directive by voting for President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees. Well, some NDC MPs last 2 weeks, we know, voted for these nominees, and we've been seeing a list on the WhatsApp status of the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete. Well, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba joins me in studio with details of that petition from the Pru East constituency executives. And Maxwell, who are these petitioners? Let's talk about them.
So, Amifa, we have Gori Anthony, he's the branch secretary, Zachary Mariam, she's the branch women organizer, and then we have Samuel Abebiu, who's a branch secretary, and then Asuma Abdullahi, who is also a branch organizer, and they've copied in this petition the national chairman, the National Council of Elders, the member of parliament for Pru East constituency himself, Dr. Kwabena Donko, the regional chairman for Bunu East, and then the regional secretary Bunu East, the constituency chairman for Pru East, and then the constituency secretary of Pru East.
And their concern really is?
Well, they say that on the eve of the voting day, that's March 23, 2023, Dr. Kwabena Donko stated on his constituency WhatsApp platform suggesting that he cannot obey the directives of the party because KT Hammond, one of the nominees, is his friend and brother. And they've attached a WhatsApp conversation. They say it's evidence to what they are saying. They say we have evidence which suggests that Dr. Kwabena Donko intended to flout the directives of the party. He publicly gave reasons for his intentions, and they added another WhatsApp screenshot that they say is their evidence. They say, we believe he carried out his intentions and voted against the party's position. The action by Dr. Kwabena Donko, which is an anti-party conduct, has put the party in public ridicule, and they say we therefore petition for the party to activate disciplinary proceedings against him and punish him as a form of deterrence for future misconduct. We've been trying to get some answers from the party leadership, but those we spoke to, they told us that no evidence, they don't think there's any concrete evidence to this, and that if they go ahead and make public comments, it would open a Pandora's box of a lot of some of these, concerns. So they are not speaking to it now, for now.
Okay, but thankfully you've been interacting with one of the petitioners.
Exactly.
And a branch secretary, Anthony Gori. Really, did they provide any evidence beyond that WhatsApp message that in screenshots that they've been talking about?
No. So on the NDC, the evidence that they provided in this petition is a screenshot from the NDC platform Pru East. So someone posted that he has information that Dr. Kwabena Donko and another NDC MP voted for the ministerial nominees, and then the MP, member of parliament, came to respond that it is true KT is my brother and I have a personal relationship with him. I hope that satisfies those who are wondering. And he made another comment also saying that everyone knows KT is my friend and brother, and so I can understand their worry. So these petitioners are saying that based on their own deductions of these, it means that he voted for the ministerial nominees.
Okay, we can hear from Anthony Gori.
After which, our MP also came on a platform to tell us that KTMO is a friend, and at the same time, he's a brother too. So somebody also questioned him that what is he trying to say, and then he said what he has said that KTMO is a brother and at the same time a friend. He has answered all questions about the elections. So what we people understand is that being a brother and at the same time a friend means you are not going to vote against it. Since after the elections, the rumors have been taking place here and there, and then our MP never came out to express himself whether what is going on is true or not. So we have taken it that it's true that he has voted for that particular man, and then the other the nominee.
So Evans, that's Anthony Gbori there. He's a branch secretary for the Pru East constituency, part of those who have petitioned the party. They're raising concerns about their MP, Dr. Kwabena Donkor. And we've been hearing about some others pouring libation in other constituencies, whether their MP actually participated in the approval of these nominees, among others. Hello, Evans. Okay.
Yes, MFA. So that definitely is politics there at play in the NDC when it comes to the voting that we saw the last time. Many people have not overcome that yet. The party is still brooding over what happened in the voting for the ministerial nominees. We'll see a lot of this though. But the most important thing to see what the party says about this particular position taken by the party members in this petition that they filed with them. We'll see what the party says about that. And
for now, the party will not make comments
is joining that with.
What I'm interested in Rwanda when it comes to doing business and how they made some significant progress when it comes to doing business and investment attraction, and also as well as FDI. And I'll be interested in what they've done or how they've been able to make some significant progress in attracting FDIs and also doing business in that country.
Yeah, I mean that is a very important point you make, George. And I noticed that, for example, at the party conference, that the party is very close to the Chinese Communist Party, because of course they invited the Chinese senior official was part of that conference. And you know how the Chinese have done business. They've opened up, although they are the communists, they have a communist political party. They have done a lot to open the economy to the rest of the world. US does business with them. The rest of the world does. Africa does. And if that is anything to go by, then it's very obvious. And driving around the country, you will notice that there is a lot of foreign direct investment, companies setting up to produce, but also they are encouraging their own locals to also take the lead in this. And Paul Kagame had made the point that no country will succeed if the economy is controlled by foreigners. It's only when the country and the economy is controlled by the locals that the country succeeds. So that is the principle they're using, George.
Well, thank you, Evans. Well, coming up in business, we get some understanding from Bank of Ghana on what is driving the city's firm stability against the US dollar over the past month, with the dollar now being quoted within the 11 range by some of the commercial banks. And could the recent fuel reductions at the pumps be coming to an end after the price of crude oil surged by more than 5% following OPEC's decision to cut production? The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Allianz Life and Ghana Pay.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That's happy moments listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC BBC Cape Coast and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209 or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Luxurious affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Fly Qatar Airways, the world's best airline, and enjoy added convenience, safety, and flexibility of online bookings and mobile wallet payments. Enjoy 100% bonus avios. Simply join Privilege Club now and use QR Pay to book. Book today at www.qatarairways.com. Qatar Airways, going places together.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Ghana cedi continues to stabilize against the US dollar for a month now. The stability has been strengthened over the past 2 weeks. For some, the development can be described as interesting compared to what happened in 2022. So, from the Bank of Ghana's own perspective, what has accounted for the city's performance? Philip Abrodotu is Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana.
I think the domestic debt exchange is part of the story. What the domestic debt exchange is doing is that it's taking away some stimulus from the economy, it's taking away some demand from the economy, and of course that demand which hitherto would have gone to the forex market is not there. So think about it this way, external interest payment is collapsing because of the domestic debt exchange. So the demand for forex to service our debt has also sort of fizzled out. Burden on the fiscal is not there, and therefore when you put all these things together, it is even more appropriate for us to be setting the interest rate right so as not to get economic agents sort of taking advantage of interest rate arbitrage and putting pressure on the currency. I mean, if you look at our imports from the BOP, they've gone down significantly. These are demand which hitherto would have come to the central bank to demand for forex.
Director. Now, Philip Abrodotu is Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana. So how the local currency performed today? Well, the commercial banks are offering 11 Ghana cedis, 75 pesos to a dollar. Now, this is the average rate that they offered for transactional purposes to their clients. Now, some international institutions are quoting 11 Ghana cedis, 25 pesos to the dollar, for transactional purposes outside the country. However, for the forex bureaus, they are still quoting 12 Ghana cedis to a dollar. It is believed that the significant progress made by Ghana towards getting an IMF program has also contributed to the city's marginal stability. Now, there are fears that the recent reduction in prices of petroleum products could be coming to an end. Now, this was after the price of crude oil shot up by more than 5% on the international market. There is more in this report.
Price of petroleum products on the market has dropped for about 3 times at the pumps since the first quarter of this year. The development has been partly linked to the Ghana cedi stability, drop in price of crude oil on the international market, and the Gold for Oil program. But one of the critical components that has helped consumers to enjoy lower price at the pumps was the sharp rate at which the price of crude oil was reducing on the international markets over the past month. However, the decision by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries to cut production has reversed the trend. Crude oil since last week has gone up by more than 7%. Now, there are concerns that this could also impact badly the price of petroleum products at the pumps in the coming days. But some industry experts have argued that this will now largely depend on the stability of the Ghana cedi to minimize any shocks on the markets locally going forward. For others, this will be the real test of the Gold for Oil program in terms of assessing its impact.
And that is a business desk report. In a separate development, more oil marketing firms are reducing the prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Shell and Total are selling a litre of petrol at 12 Ghana cedis, 65 pesos. Diesel is going for 12 Ghana cedis, 84 pesos. Another oil firm, that is Petrosol, is selling a litre of petrol at 12 Ghana cedis, 15 pesos. Diesel is trading at 12 Ghana cedis, 69 pesos. This coming after Gold and Star Oil earlier today dropped their prices by more than 2% a litre for diesel, and as well as petrol also going up by some significant margin. Meanwhile, the price of LPG has gone down by more than 5% per kilo. Now, this is the second time this year the prices of this product has witnessed some decline. But why is this lower than what we had projected? Gabriel Kumi is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association.
Earlier on, there were projections that LPG was going to go down by about 9-10%, but unfortunately that did not happen, mainly because those projections were made earlier part of the window when crude oil price was as low as $72 per barrel. But if you look at the end of last week, crude oil price shot up to about $85 per barrel. So that is what has accounted for our inability to reduce the price by that 9% that was projected earlier last window.
Gabriel Kumi is the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Now, the lack of information is affecting the development of domestic tourism in Ghana. Now, that's according to the Managing Director of Adansi Travel and Tours, Gideon Asari. Speaking to Joy Business at the 10th anniversary of it offered, he called on the Ghana Tourism Authority and other stakeholders to embark on various sensitization programs to improve domestic tourism.
Some people ask me what is at all in Ghana for us to go and see. I think that is because of lack of information. There's a lot. There are some places in Ghana I always say when I take pictures, because I travel a lot, people think, oh, where is it? They're expecting an answer to say Maldives or Zanzibar, but I will say, oh, that will be some Kokrobite area.
And that is, we're hearing from the Managing Director of the Adansi Travel and Tours, that is Gideon Asari, telling us what can be done to improve domestic tourism. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission says it is in the process of reviewing its act to make it more responsive and proactive to market development and take measures to ensure that investors are promoted or actually protected. Let's hear from the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete.
The Enabling Act must also tell what you can do. I can tell you that we are in a process to look at overhauling the Act 929 to enhance the powers of the SEC. I remember some years ago when we had some challenge here. I happened to be in the US. I engaged the US SEC and I appreciated some powers they have. Okay, so we
let you act assertively in terms of the current development to the market
to enhance our resolution powers as well as other things.
And that is Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete talking about what they'll be doing to ensure that they protect the market in terms of investors and everything that'll be done to protect them and ensure that the right things are done. It might be a good time to turn to the market and see how things will fare today on the Ghana Stock Exchange. For some, the market is doing well in terms of returns that is offering to investors, and also what the market regulators are doing to ensure that the right things are done. And that is all for Business on News Night. And Emifa joins us to
George.
Yeah, events, yeah.
Yes, George, you asked me a question about the ease of doing business in Rwanda. So whilst we're on break, I try to pull it up, and the World Bank puts them as #1 on the continent and as the most business friendly.
Interesting.
Interesting. As far as regulation is concerned,
and obviously,
on the continent.
And obviously,
that's according to the latest 2020 data I've seen.
Interesting events. Well, some might raise questions about the political governance, but it appears when it comes to business, they're doing something interesting there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to the economy, I guess, and socio-economic development, they are doing a lot. When it comes to the question of democracy, however, many have lots of questions, and rightly so. But talk to the people on the streets. They feel it in their pockets. They feel it in their socio-economic lives and the basic things about the microeconomy. They seem pretty happy as far as the economy is concerned. Of course, freedom of expression is an issue still here, and you can't run away from that. So yeah, you have to weigh the two, don't you, George? It's a very important thing about economic progress versus free and fair elections and freedom of speech.
And even the same argument can be made for those who are in the Far East, Lee Kuan Yew and what he did to his country, and even in China right now, the argument being made about the political system of governance there and what they've been able to do when it comes to growing the economy and expanding the economy and giving the world leader a good run for its money. That is US.
Absolutely, George. Thank you very much. And George Rafe with Business. You're still live here on News Night. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Evans Mensah, and I'm live from Kigali in Rwanda.
And live from Accra, I am Emefa Apau.
Let's go to the Ashanti region now, where children in basic schools in the region are likely to miss lunch tomorrow following a strike by school feeding caterers. The caterers are demanding payment of arrears for the third term in the previous academic year. Parents now tomorrow would have to find an alternative lunch for their wards until the situation changes. Today, MFA, the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah chastised the caterers who besieged the Regional Coordinating Council. The caterers picketed at the premises demanding payment of unpaid arrears. My colleague Nana Ansah has more.
The regional minister, who was unhappy with the chants of the caterers from the first floor of the office, reprimanded the caterers. But some of the caterers retorted, which infuriated the minister to return to his office without receiving their petition. The chants of the caterers continued until a delegation led by Gloria Timagambra came to receive the petition.
We know women, when they are angry, they have to shout, they have to make noise, and it is normal. What we are expecting from him, we just come and receive it. Tell us something that we'll be very happy with. But unfortunately, he just not that. And so we are not happy.
Earlier, the caterers from different districts in the region converged at the office of the regional school feeding coordinator to register their displeasure. They subsequently withdrew their services ahead of school reopening on Tuesday. The caterers are expecting arrears for the second term of the previous academic year to be paid before they resume work. About a week ago, the group received the first term payment of the same year, an amount they say does not cover the full term. They have threatened to throw away food of colleagues who go contrary to the decision.
It's been 3 years the government said they have increased the fee, but it's not true.
Now the school fee was Ashanti Regional. If it's or China school. Now so government last week and it's Wednesday.
We are to open tomorrow, but the government has only paid half of the school feeding money.
No more Wednesday. One more call bank so we could do music and if you trash it. You know, I see and what we must see. No, son, what are the so and no school feed. I see,
We've been cooking for a year without any money from the government.
No increment, no cooking. Your second term payment.
We need an increment or we'll stop cooking.
Most caterers say they are being chased by their suppliers and banks where they secured loans for the contract. Dorothy Oforisapon is one of them.
And now we are owing our bankers indebtedness. You cannot even count the number of challenges. It's just enormous. Yourself, how much do you owe? Me, myself personally, Dorothy, they didn't pay me. They didn't pay my 10 days for COVID time. And that one, I cooked for about 157 students for 3 cities, multiplied by 10 days. They didn't pay more than 6,000. And now, my school is big. We are owing more than 80,000 to our suppliers. Now when they pay only 25,000 or 30,000. It cannot pay anything. So now we are demanding that payment and increment before we start tomorrow. Otherwise, nobody is going to cook tomorrow.
Pupils in basic schools in the Ashanti region benefiting from the school feeding program will be denied food on the day of reopening. For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
Thankfully, we can speak to the Public Relations Director of the school, Feeding Secretariat, Alba Siba. Mr. Siba Joyce is on the line right now. Alba Siba, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you, and good evening to our Chinese listeners.
So, why have the caterers not been paid?
Sorry, can you come up here, please?
I'm talking about the caterers. Why have they not been paid?
Well, thank you very much, guys. The caterers for the whole country, that's the 60 regions in the country, have been paid for the second term of 2021 and 2022 academic year. So if they are talking of non-payment, it might be for third term, which is outstanding. But we have just made payment for the second term, and I'm sure all of them would have accessed it. Probably there could be some isolated cases.
They were very specific that the third term of the previous academic year have not been paid. Which is confirmed. What is the issue?
Just isolated ones, and I'm sure very soon it will get to them.
Please clarify that. The third term of the previous academic year have not been paid. When will they get that payment?
What I'm saying that we have just made payment for second term of 2022 academic year, and third term is outstanding. That's what I did tell you. And you know how it works. It's always in arrears. It's a pre-financing program, and so the people have to necessarily cook, feed the children before we take inventory, before we do monitoring, ascertain the actual days that each and every caterer was able to feed before we calculate to pay them the money. So that's how it works.
The caterers are well aware of how it works. They are aware of the gap between when they incur the cost and when you pay them. Clearly, with the third term arrears, they are convinced it has been long overdue. You disagree with that?
Well, Evans, the caterers, they are our major stakeholders. They know how the system works. We have been telling them that this time around, getting the money to pay them immediately it's been a bit of a challenge for us. But despite all this, we have been trying to, as I was telling you, even the third term, we have put in a request, and we have been given very, very strong assurance that the funds are being mobilized for us to work on and disperse it to the caterers. So I'm sure it will take long. We'll be able to give them the third term payment.
So the real problem, as is just confirmed, is that, to quote you, getting the money has been a bit of a challenge. So that is the real problem. Is it fair to say that as we speak tonight, you don't know exactly when you get the money to pay them that third term arrears?
We don't even have to do it in the third term, Evans, please, because we have paid second term. We have just made payment just last week for second term. So we are anticipating that at least that one they could start using it after when we get the third term. Then we are able to pay them. But for now, we are pleading with them to at least use the one that we have paid. That was just last week. We made payment to 8 regions. We paid 8 regions previously, and then just last week we paid the remaining 8 regions. And so there's no any region outstanding as far as we look for the second term. But just for the isolated cases I told you about, those who have issues with their data. but largely all the caterers have been paid. And so we are hoping that at least once we work to get the funds released for the third term, we'll be able to use the ones that we are paying with that for the second term. So that's how it works. So that's why we are still pleading with them that they should please bear with us. We have been given strong assurance that at least the funds have been mobilized for onward disbursement to them.
In the meantime, though, the caterers in the Ashanti region, they have called a strike. What happens to the children in school tomorrow?
But to be honest with you, we are not aware of this strike. I'm just hearing from you. So we'll see how we go about it. But I've just said it from you. We don't have any information regarding that strike.
Well, today the Ashanti Regional Minister himself had cause to complain because the caterers had gone to his office to demonstrate and to picket. They were very angry. Clearly, everybody have seen and heard this protest. The Secretariat, you've not been told, you've not heard, watched at all what has happened today in Ashanti region and the declaration of the strike?
No, you said they were going on strike, and I'm saying that for us, we have not been officially told that they are going on strike because we know it's about the payment. And as I did tell you, we have made payments for the rest of the 8 days just last week. So we don't believe that there's any cause for any strike for now. And so that's why we are using some of these channels to tell them that yes, we are aware of the situation. Nobody is saying that they have no issue. They have legitimate concern. Once the arrests are there, when we acknowledge the issue, but we are just pleading with them that they should exercise the state once we work to get the money released for them. That's the only advice we can give them. Otherwise, there's nothing for now. At least we have assured them that we have also been giving strong assurance. Always that has been the situation. We put in the request, and government releases the money to us, and we also release to them. So that's the same procedure we are following. So they are aware. We plead with them, at least for the sake of the children, because it doesn't help if they go on strike. So we have just personally appealing to them to just go and work once we work to get the funds released for them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Public Relations Director of the School Feeding Secretariat, Alba Siba. It's time for sports now, and I believe Ms. Bao is in the studio with the latest. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Definitely sure Rwanda is treating you well, but former world champion Joshua Clottey has been speaking, and he's calling on the country to place emphasis on amateur boxing in order to stand a chance of producing a world title champion. He's been speaking to Joy Sports following Isaac Dogbe's loss to Robeza Ramirez for the WBO vacant world title.
The last, I think it was 3 weeks 1 month ago, they had amateur fight at the boxing arena. That was great. That was our time. I fought with everybody in amateur. That is what we have to do to beat the boys. Listen to me, this guy is just your fight. And he beat somebody in something like 30 to 35. Don't you understand? It's because of the amateur. We have to keep fighting this amateur. We don't have to take the boys into gym and let them fight in the gym. Then we judge, then we take them to the games. No, we have to let these boys fight open for people to watch. There is this boy called, they used to call the boy, I think he's 30. He's a flyweight guy. That guy is so fantastic. Trust me, I watched the guy when they had the amateur. They keep calling the guy French boxer, and they call him the first two. But I don't know his real name, but it's a flyweight in the national team. That guy is so good. I think they self-admitted me that guy. I think the other guy is what you call this guy, the Jaguar guy. They have to let these guys fight the amateur competition before they take them to the games. They didn't take them to the game just because they wanted to favor them. No!
Joshua Clottey there, clearly passionate about the game, and MFA, it's interesting to know that the last time Ghana won a world title championship is 5 years ago, and we're hoping Isaac would do it on Saturday.
Just 5 years ago.
We're hoping Isaac would do it on Saturday, but you know, Neho didn't Neho.
The Neho didn't Neho.
The Neho didn't Neho.
No problem. It will happen. Well, Evans, you are in Rwanda. I'm wondering what you're doing now whilst we're casting the news, but that's for another day. But you've been interacting with a number of experts. They are concerned that there was a time when the Ghanaian economy was one of the most celebrated in Africa, but that is no more. Now Ghana is being cited as a classic example of a badly run African economy with lessons for the rest of the continent on how not to run an economy. Evans Mensah. He's the head of our political affairs at Joy News, and he's filed this report live from Rwanda.
When it comes to doing things, we either do nothing or do the wrong things.
A succinct diagnosis of the African challenge by President Paul Kagame. Under President Kagame, Rwanda has risen from a country ravaged by genocide when 800,000 people were slaughtered just 29 years ago to become a country now ranked first on the continent and amongst the top 10 fastest growing economies in the world pre and post COVID-19, according to the African Development Bank. His Rwandan Patriotic Front Party, RPF, was created by a group of Rwandese in exile who fought to end the genocide. This week, the party turns 35. At an international conference to mark the anniversary, the party focused exclusively on policy and not politics, inviting international experts to discuss the African problem and propose solutions. What was fascinating was how the international panel of experts openly challenged President Kagame at his own party conference in a healthy exchange of ideas. It started when the former president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Donald Kaberuka, suggested that Africa's challenge was mainly failure to properly diagnose our problems and apply the right solutions.
You are right, where they fail is on implementation. But often it is because the what itself has not been well thought out. So it is important to answer how, but you must also answer what are you going to do. I'm not certain that in many countries the what has been answered.
President Kagame, in his front row seat, raised his hand, appealed to speak, and disagreed.
You said that you are not saying that there are no implementation issues. Actually, this is the problem. Forget about the how or the what.
The expert panel stood their ground. Professor at Harvard University, Dr. Celestine Monga, insisted their position on the matter was the right one.
The moderator is putting me in a difficult situation to try to respond to that. I would still dare say that I'm on the side of Dr. Kaberuka on this one. And I could tell you, Mr. President, that I had interaction with a lot of ministers and prime ministers and presidents who believe in the wrong ideas. So I think that the what, in some situations, is still relevant.
President Kagame will not give in, making another comeback, calling out African countries for either doing nothing about their problems or doing the wrong things.
I still have an issue because people walk to our countries, well, they come by air or by ship, but they tell people you must do this, you need to do this, and in fact tie that to the money or the means they are giving you to be able to do that.
So that's a report Evans filed earlier from Rwanda. And Evans, our president has also been speaking, President Akufo-Addo. Well, he's been speaking on elimination of racism and discrimination against people of African descent at the United Nations over the weekend. He said Africa must work to take care of itself, and if the world is not willing to solidarize with the continent. That's about it for tonight, right?
Yes, that's about it for tonight. But just before we go, we need to let our audience in on the biggest secret on the Joy Prime. It is called Cues and Lyrics. It is set to promote creativity and also recognize incredible vocal talents. Many travel from all parts of the country to the national capital of Accra to audition for the show, delivering it, believing it will lead to the fulfillment of the dreams of their dreams. And I know, MFA Pal, you are a disappointed musician. Maybe you should take up Cues and Lyrics.
I was hoping you would audition. We'll leave you with that. But Evans, we have some acknowledgement. You're presenting the news live from Rwanda. How is this possible?
Oh, it's possible because of the fantastic work that our technical team, the radio technical team, has done. Biggie, Mr. Damwa himself had done a great job doing this. Gozor, we call him, also has done a great job. Mohammed Samuel Boate, who leads them.
We have
fantastic
William
work. The whole 1 hour
this.
doing this. They've done a lot work to ensure that's done.
Well, thank you very much. And that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of News Night. So, and the entire team, we're indeed grateful. Then That's My Opinion is up next with Nana Ansah Kwao. The devil is tired. I am MFR Pao.
Yeah.
Dreams never chase man chase dreams. So I'm here to chase my dreams and make my region proud.
Their preparations at home were just not enough. From the lounge to the washroom, these young musicians dotting their I's and crossing the T's before facing the judges.
People are, being creative, so it will be tough today, but trust me, we are going to get the star that we want.
Mr. Investigator and a man who played things upon your side, I beg God and articulate.
I there, I mix it baby together. I rather cry sing and I mix it in my day.
Cause we are young, we carry on, oh my God, I bet you are feeling this song,
I didn't give you a radio that you tire. Charlie, this one is like you need stadium where you go perform for.
I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at my feet. There's such a difference.
I see the direction we are going to, which is very great.
In a cutthroat decision-making process, 40 were shortlisted for the final showdown, but only 12 talents will make it for the first season of Cues and Lyrics.
Kadema bust up in the area. Every time they know say me and style be different.
All right,
no say
count tomorrow.
Although some were disappointed for not making the cut, they were nonetheless thankful to Joy Prime for providing them the platform to exhibit their talent. They promised never to drop the microphone as they vow to improve on their act for subsequent editions of the show. Well, for the shortlisted individuals, their journey to stardom continues unabated.
Cues and Lyrics. Bring on the music.